Well, we're fucked, the nation's fucked, and the RAM shortage is fucked. My love life is fucked, gaming's fucked, we're all fucked. The man's got his weekly fingies squeezing on our ball sack like a stress ball, and it's squeezing out little donos out of our pockets at a alarming rate. And you're probably saying just that, what the hell are you yapping about again? Crucial is a brand where they usually make RAMs and SSDs, and they usually make really affordable RAM and SSDs. Now, I was hoping it was going to be the gamers and Crucial versus the evil corpse of Jeff Bezos and like Phil Spencer and like the data centers and shit. But Crucial, just like iDubbbz, they tucked their little wiener and went the other way. Micron is discontinuing Crucial, and they're shifting their focus to AI data centers. Micron killed Crucial to join the dark side. Before you know it, they're gonna push those Crucial products into the AI data centers, and then they're gonna start pooping out AI girlfriends. One minute you're talking to Legina, next minute you're talking to Grunk, bitch. Now what does this mean for you and I? That means basically the most affordable RAM that you could probably get is basically non-existent. Or it will be in the Q2 of February 2026. Which means you get to spend $1,700 on a whole DDR5 RAM kit. Look, it's fine. I'll eat pebbles off the road, you know. The power bill that I had to get this month, it doesn't matter. They could just, they could turn it off. I don't need power. Water bill? What do you think I drink? Water? I drink Dr. Pepper every day. They could turn off the water. My child support? Fuck him complaining that he doesn't have milk for his Fruit Loops? Hell, I'll tell him what my grandpa used to tell me. Use water. Oh wait, we turned off the water. I guess you're just gonna have to eat air with your Fruit Loops, little Timmy. Daddy needs a whole set of 32 gigabytes of DDR5. But wait, there's more. Yeah, that's right. We haven't even got to the center of the Tootsie Pop yet. Pretty much what I said in the last video is every company that you can think of, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, all of them got their big old dicks in this one bowl trying to claim the throne of like AI. You got all these companies throwing money into it, making like AI data centers and all this. You got Elon Musk out here fucking making a little factory out in like Memphis where he has like 35 like jet engines just going off at all times, basically fucking up the airspace. Not only that, but they need water because they need cooling, right? So not only you're sucking up power, but you're also sucking up the water too. You got everybody across the world basically spending $500 billion on AI data centers, which is so much money I wouldn't even know what to do with that kind of chunk of change. I wish I said this when I was talking about it the last time, but I'm gonna say it here. The thing about it is once they need RAM, they're gonna need a motherboard, they're gonna need a power supply, they're gonna need all this stuff to run basically another computer, which means all your parts that you need for a PC is basically going to go up at some point, and I'm scared when that's going to be. Because yesterday, I swear to God, the power supply that I put in my cart said 97. Next day, I saw it go up to 114. And I'm sitting here wondering if there's going to be a power supply shortage. You already got pre-built companies upping up their prices due to all this. And you're probably sitting here thinking, well, hopefully this is like a short-term little thing, just a little hiccup down the road. Once these RAM makers start making more RAM, it's all going to be sunshines and rainbows.
Aren't they supposed to be saving our asses?
Looks like there's been a change of plans.
You already have RAM maker companies refuse to make more RAM, mainly because everybody's too busy making AI chips, even though they make 14% off of like just DRAM alone. They've already said that the shortage is going to probably continue all the way up to 2027. And experts already said, and this is the scary part, so hold on to your seat on this one. They said that this pricing apocalypse that's going on right now with RAM could last for at least a decade. I am not shitting to you. Look at the screen. It's on text. This is basically straight from the horse's mouth. If there's one thing I've learned about all this mess is I always wondered why people wanted communism over capitalism. And honestly, I see why now. Because at least if they made an AI data center in Russia, it would be for everyone. But all these AI data centers, all they're gonna do for me is make it where I'm gonna waste more money just to get my clinker wife to say I love you. Hell, you already got reports of people's power bills being 267% more just because they're right next to an AI data center. Even though I think this is like really extreme, and they absolutely do not give a flying baloney butt cheek about who they affect or what hobbies they affect. And I imagine some of this is just trying to compete with China and all the other nations into basically getting AI first. But the big major thing with these companies right now, right, is not the whole thing about just beating China. But the real reason is basically they want to get rid of almost 90% of like jobs in America. They basically want to get rid of all the people in these working jobs and replace them with AI. And honestly, that sounds like a lovely idea. But here's the thing, if that does happen and everything becomes automated, how the fuck do I make bread? And this is something I've been hearing about like a whole heck of a lot here recently, and it's the only thing that really makes sense to me than just turning people into batteries. We would have to all go on UBI. And you're probably asking what's UBI, and that's Universal Basic Income. Which, to put very simply, all it really is everybody gets paid for basically doing nothing. You don't need a job, you get paid like a certain amount of income every week or every month, whatever. And, however they would, implement it. Because if we didn't have UBI and everything became automated, we would all be sucking dong behind Denny's, scraping what little pennies we have just to get a meal in our tummy. Sure, we could have jobs after AI takes over, but honestly, for how long? But to be honest with you and to be 100% real with you guys, I've seen this with people, I've seen this in myself, I've seen this with all kinds of ways on how people think. I hate to say it, but you can't turn a monkey into a NASA scientist. There are just some people in this world that are just made to just pick up potatoes. You could not force them to be a NASA scientist. You can't force them to be an engineer for NASA. You can't. They're basically, you can't force a horse to water. That's another way you can say it. Even myself, right? I'm fucking garbage with math. If I didn't have a calculator on my phone, I would be the biggest retard at math. So when you tell a guy who's basically his whole life evolves around picking up potatoes, and you tell him, hey, come over here to this one company and you can come help us work on these AI robots, the potato guy is gonna be like, so all I gotta do is just pick up potatoes? You see what I mean? I like AI. It seems like it's got a lot of promise, and I can see it being really useful as a tool. But I think the biggest thing that people should be concerned about instead of like AI art or AI music is what happens after everything's automated. How do we live in a society that you really don't have to provide for nothing? Or would you still have to provide something? Or will we just get to a point where we turn everybody into batteries? Because sooner or later, we're going to be in that predicament. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, skiddly boppity boop. I'm out.